friends. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. I was thinking how I wanted to finish the year with my kind of social media content, where I wanted to go with it. And I've learned some of the biggest lessons of my life in the last several years, things that have changed my life dramatically, my body, the way it's healed, the way it's responding to me, the way my life feels. And so I thought it would be really cool to share some of that with you. And I'm going to do it over the next 12 days so that I can hopefully keep this in bite-sized chunks, because I have a lot to talk about around this subject. And so I want to keep it really short and manageable each day. So I'm going to do 12 days. So again, these are going to be some of the biggest lessons, some of the biggest mindset shifts, things that have really changed the trajectory of my life. And I'm going to share those with you. So today I want to talk about this concept of your body is not broken. It's just talking to you. So for years, I felt like I was broken. I had all of these symptoms, digestive issues, insomnia, brain fog, fatigue, depression, anxiety. I didn't know. I kept looking for the one thing that was going to fix me because I felt broken. But our body's never broken. It doesn't do things by accident. It's just talking to you. And so you have to learn to listen. It's never one thing that causes all of your symptoms. So it's not one thing that's going to, quote, fix you. And that was an important lesson for me, because I wanted the one supplement, the one protocol, the one thing to do, the one test to come back and show me what I had, what was wrong with me. But it wasn't one thing. It was a combination of things. And a majority of that was my thoughts, my mindset, my thinking, the story that I was telling myself about what was possible for my healing, for my journey, the narrative I had about the circumstances in my life and what that was doing to me or to my life. Most of our stress keeps us sick. But most of our stress doesn't come from where we think it comes from. It's not traffic and financial issues and relationship issues and, this time of year, the stress of the holidays. That's not the stress that mostly impacts us. It's the stress up here. It's our thinking. It's our habitual thoughts, the patterns of thinking, the stories, the unprocessed emotions, the unresolved traumas. These things live in our body and they make us physically sick. So trying to do different things and force different habits doesn't change you for very long, or they don't stick. Because you have to, in order to change the way your life feels, to change your body, to heal your body, you have to be somebody new. You have to become somebody new. It happens from the inside out. One of my old coaches always used to say, 2 things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. And I could wrap my head around that, right? You can't have 2 things in the same physical space at the same time. That goes for thinking and feeling. You cannot think and feel at the same time. So we spend all of our time thinking about the past, worrying about the future, avoiding the feelings of now, the present. We work so hard to repress emotions, to not feel, to avoid, to cope. We use alcohol and food and social media and shopping and all of these things to avoid our feelings. We want to think about our problems and how we can fix them and why we aren't doing different things. But we're not getting to the root of what's keeping us stuck there. It's keeping our nervous system locked on, because that's what's happening, is these thoughts, these unfelt, unprocessed emotions and past emotional traumas are locking your nervous system on in fight or flight, where healing doesn't happen and weight loss doesn't happen, where new habits don't happen, new behaviors don't happen. You don't change when we're stuck in the on position. You can't handle one more thing. You're already at your max. You're overwhelmed, frustrated. We need to learn to allow ourselves to feel. We need to be aware of the thoughts that we're having, how we're talking to ourselves, how we see things. We don't see life as it is. We see life as we perceive it to be. It's our perception of things. And we can change that. We can change our perception of things so that it makes us feel a different way, to calm us, help us relax, so that we can better face the things that we have in our life. Allow our body to heal. Allow our body to feel safe enough to lose weight. For so long, I tried all of the tricks with diet and exercise and supplements that I knew to get my body to lose weight. But it didn't feel safe. And it didn't feel safe because of the way I was talking to it, because of past traumas that I had not processed at all, that I just kept avoiding. And the minute I would start to feel, I had all of my coping mechanisms, which I've tried them all, to bury those feelings. And so my body stayed stuck. And I felt broken because I couldn't change it. I couldn't fix it. So if you're feeling that way, I want you to know your body isn't broken. Like I said, our bodies don't make mistakes. We can get by with abusing it for days, months, years even, before we start to see these symptoms. So when you start to see hair falling out, I'm not sleeping so good, my digestion's a little off, like things just, I'm more sad more often. I can't control my emotions. Sometimes I think about something and I just start crying. I don't know why. I can't stop it. This is because it's now gotten to a point where you're seeing physical symptoms. You no longer can keep this repressed. And the more we do that, the more we try to bury it, the more it's going to try to come out, because your body is trying, it's always trying to come back into balance. It's always talking to you. We just need to slow down a little bit, allow that to happen, learn some new tools, and then work on changing our habits. Then work on, once our body feels safe enough, getting to a place where it can lose weight. And so I will never stop talking about this, thoughts to reality, because this was, when I was on my healing journey, I had SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Basically, the bacteria from my large intestines had kind of invaded my small intestines. And for 10 years, I battled with that. And the story and the narrative was from everybody, all the doctors I worked with, how common it was for it to come back. And it's because nobody was talking about why SIBO was there in the first place. And it wasn't a physical thing. It wasn't something wrong with your body that all of a sudden happened where now you had this. It was my thinking and the trauma and the unprocessed emotions that were keeping my nervous system locked on that eventually caused this. And until I fixed that, none of the protocols were working. And I see this with so many people that I talked to now, whether it's, mine was SIBO, there's all sorts of symptoms or chronic diseases that are now linked. And it's so many of us, the root of it is our nervous system being out of balance. So for the next 12 days, I'm going to share more about the kind of lessons that I have learned along this journey. I'm going to break them down into 12 days. These are the lessons that I've learned. I'm launching a coaching program in January 9th, Keep the Commitment, which shows you the how to fix this, give you the tools that have helped me. I want to empower you to see things differently for yourself. You know how they say, teach or give a person a fish he eats for a day, teach him to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. I want you to have these tools for a lifetime, because the goal is never to get rid of all of our stress. That's not realistic. It's also not realistic to think I will never be sad again or never had a bad day again. The goal is to have better tools and better awareness so that when we do find ourselves there, we don't get stuck there. It doesn't last for days or weeks or months. Maybe it lasts for a day. But we are able to recognize, process, and move on. So check back the next 12 days. If you missed the live, there'll be, of course, a recording. I'm also going to be emailing this out to my email newsletter. If you want more information on Keep the Commitment, comment KTC, Keep the Commitment, below, and I'll send you more info on that. This program is like nothing that is out there right now, and it is exactly what I needed 10 years ago, longer than that, at the beginning of my journey. Much love, friends. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow.